As entrepreneurs, we are busy doing it. And you know what? We don't make time for what's important to us. You know, we always talk, family, friends, so important, but we're doing it. Well, I have a remarkable entrepreneur who is doing something that's different than almost all of us. And it's something that I really appreciate, because what we tend to do is focus on work, and we don't realize that we're in business, not just from our business, we're in business for supporting a great quality of life for all stakeholders, not only our clients, our customers, our teammates, our partners, shareholders if we have it, but our families as well. And one of the best ways to do that quality of life is really collect great memories, not great things. We can buy the cars and the boats and all that stuff, or planes or whatever level you're at, but it's the memories. Well, I've got a remarkable entrepreneur who's going to join us and share with us how we can create some amazing memories outdoors. You don't want to miss this. I'm John Bowen, and I am the co-founder of AES Nation. It's all about accelerating your success, and making time to build a great quality of life is going to create a great business. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. AESNation.com.
Tom, I am so excited that you joined me. You're in one of my favorite areas, of the world, Silicon Valley, kind of cross corner in Florida, and you are on a mission of making things happen for guys like me, which is just, I really appreciate it. But, first of all, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, John. I really appreciate it.
So we're going to talk about outdoor ventures, and you've got a great company making some amazing memories for clients. And, the one thing I always like to start out with is, so we get to know each other better, our audience does, is a little bit of the background, because I just can't imagine, and most of us waking up in the business we're in, that was always what we're going to do. But, I'm looking at the beautiful pictures on your website, and you may have started right from a kid thinking about this, Tom. Give us a little backstory of how you got there.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a father of 3 lovely children, husband to a lovely wife, who lets me pursue this passion, which is amazing. So for that, I thank her. But my first childhood memory, the very, very first one, was waking up in a tent on an island in the middle of a river in the North Georgia mountains to the sound of the water just going by. And I vividly remember that because on the way home, we were playing the Bee Gees, the Grapevine song on the radio. And so forever, that was the spark, my bug, my outdoor bug, as we call it, that created my passion for the outdoors and has led me kind of down the path that I am today.
No, Tom, it's really amazing. I mean, we were talking before we turned on the camera that, I had as soon as you said that, I could remember being in a fishing camp in Quebec that my dad had taken me up, and I had Rod Stewart singing. And, it's just, and it was a great experience. And, these things, so often we don't realize the bonding experience in the case of my dad and myself, and just, with friends. We're talking about adventures before we turned on the camera, and we'll get into more of those. But, did you're running a significant outdoor adventure company, and we'll get into what more that is. But, help me out with, how do you make that transition? Because I know you're kind of in a financial setting as well, like me, but you went in a different turn.
Yeah, so prior to doing this, I was working for Capital One in Richmond, Virginia, and I was leading an analytical team that we did the analysis on the customer experience and how to improve that across all the contact centers for the high-value clients. And that got me to Tampa, because eventually they were like, Tom, great work, love what you're doing. Nobody can implement it, so can you go please take all this awesome stuff and implement it in the call center in Tampa? And so that's how I ended up here. And lo and behold, Capital One bought HSBC Capital U.S. Card, and they were $80 million over budget. And they had to let people go and kind of last in, first out. Greatest thing that ever happened to me. It was them saying, hey, Tom, we're real sorry. Here's your severance. And because we're super sorry, here's a fake job we're going to give you for 6 months. As an extra, we're sorry. And so, I love those guys. I'm still in touch with them. But because of that, they gave me my seed money that I would then had to start working on this. So I was still getting paid by Capital One, working 2 hours a week, and then was able to do my, work on my business plan and flesh out the model, and then launch in December 14.
It's always interesting when we have things like this. One door closes and another door opens, and particularly when they hold the door open for you, it's even better type thing.
True, absolutely.
But one of the big challenges, I'm a guy. I do love adventures, and I love many of the things you're doing. I was in the Navy in Pensacola and fell in love with kind of the whole area, and other than the mosquitoes, but everything else is really good. And when you're by the water and the wind's going, it's not bad at all. But these amazing outdoor experiences that you do, and I want to go big picture first, and then we're going to dive in, because as business owners, we tend to have limited time. We go into business to have freedom, and the business kind of chains us. We only work half time. 12 hours a day instead of 24 time. But, behaviors say that we should really make a minimum of about 6 weeks of the year that we're doing things away from our business. And that's going to allow us to recharge, be high performing in what we're doing. And, the question always is, how do you choose the right adventure? And particularly, the outdoor side. Tom, there's guys like me who I used to love camping, Boy Scout and all the stuff with it and all kinds of stories. And then I went on a 14-day trip down the Grand Canyon in kayaks and dory and rafts. And I just found that 14 days of camping with 16 of my buddies, I was ready to leave, and actually one other guy was too, and we checked. It was $10,000 to rent the helicopter to fly out. And every night we would go, okay, is today the day? Because we had agreed to split it. And we did make it the whole way, but it was a close call. Now, how do you find the right, adventure to create these memories? I mean, you're talking with a lot of business people, fellow entrepreneurs like yourself, and, they love what you're doing, but, how do they find the right one? I mean, you get tempted, to put it in great outdoor adventures in Google and see what comes up.
Yeah, it's not easy. So this is an industry that's incredibly fragmented, and so really it's kind of mom and pop, word of mouth. You've got some players on the internet, but really, you end up Googling, outdoor adventures to do or things to do in Florida or that kind of stuff. It is difficult to find something. What I would recommend, though, is if there's something you did as a kid or something that you were passionate about, kind of focus in your search on basically trying to relive some of the memories that you had created in the past that you have for too long forsaken. And that's, I think, how you're going to be able to re-jumpstart kind of your well-being and those innate feelings of peace and calmness that accompany an amazing outdoor experience.
Yeah, it really, it's so funny. I just think sometimes people think, we're on reality, we watch a reality TV show, that's enough outdoor adventure. And when you find one of my favorite experiences, my wife really loves fishing even more than I. And we were forgetting, it's Tarpon Springs. I know we were tarpon fishing, I guess it's by Naples. And my wife and I were going, should we go fishing or go on a real estate tour? And, we had a half a day open, and, going the intercoastal ways was a pretty good way to see an awful lot of real estate, and a fishing trip and a tarpon are an extremely exciting fish would be kind of a, not saying it's strong enough. And if I were to ask my wife, one of the best memories of fishing, and we've gone all over the world, just something like that. And it was the spur of the moment, and working with a concierge, but we're kind of brainstorming, and I'm just wondering, you've got on your website, all kinds of adventures. How do you help guide a fellow entrepreneur as they're thinking through, or a family member, they're thinking through? I go, okay, I remember I had a good time fishing with my dad. Okay, so how do I do, or camping or hiking, that type of thing?
Yeah. So the way the approach that we take is basically we ask you questions. Are you comfortable being in the woods? Are you comfortable being on a boat? Are you comfortable? Have you ever done kayak or stand-up paddleboard before? Are you more interested in the educational aspect of things, or are you more interested in action? And then from that information, we'll say, okay, well, based on your skill level and the things that you're talking to us about, this is what we kind of propose. Our goal is just to make it the best possible experience for you that we can. And that can only happen if it's something that really you get to immerse yourself into and really experience. And we don't want to put you on a tarpon fishing trip, for example. I love to tarpon fish, but I wouldn't take my 8-year-old daughter and my 5-year-old daughter tarpon fishing, because that doesn't make sense, right? So it's really understanding who the customer is, what they're looking for, and then help guide them into the right choice. But at the end of the day, most of the adventures that we do today are entry-level adventures to get people to reignite that passion with the outdoors. And so it makes it a little bit easier for us to figure that out for our customers.
Well, one of the things, let's start with the basic, Tom, because one of the decisions is, if I'm going to have a memory, should I do the outside activity? And there's all kinds of them, but one of the things, I think many of us have gotten a little soft. I know I'm a little softer than I was when I was younger. Trainers not coming over quite as many times a week, but and we're used to some luxuries and so on. But I mean, this is something I think you and I are alignment on. Just once you get out there, just the amazing. Just disconnecting from the world that you work in, the business and so on, the recharge, just an afternoon or a day. But how do you help clients who are just a little uncomfortable? Let's go from the two extremes. So one that is really uncomfortable, that they know they should try it, but they haven't had much outdoor experience, to then we've got, I'm sure you've got friends, I've got friends that are pro triathletes who they haven't yet met an adventure, jumping out of a plane on a or on a helicopter, on a snowboard, on a cliff, just seems like an average day to them. But there's a whole bunch of us in between type thing.
Yeah, there are. So there's actually 150 million Americans who view themselves as outdoorsy but don't actually get outside.
Yeah, walking to the car doesn't count.
No, but they view themselves as outdoorsy because they want to get outside. Mm-hmm. They want to get more engaged with the outdoors, but there's certain things that are kind of blockers, right? One is we always blame time, and you brought that up in the beginning, of the show. But really, to me, it all boils back down to like an uncomfortableness of fear. It's something that we haven't done in a while or never done. It's something we want to experience, but is it worth the money? Are we going to get the value we think out of it and all that? So our job is to remove all of those fears. And we do that through 100% money back guarantee. We do it through having some of the best guides we can possibly find, because we vet them all. So the work's done for you. You're going to get a great guide, a great experience, or your money back. And it's just, you kind of talked about the conveniences we're used to. We embrace convenience. We don't want to put you out there in the middle of a lightning storm for you to have a horrible experience. No, we embrace the comfort. You show up, you get on, you go have a great time, and you get off. We take care of the setup, the cleanup, the works. And that's how we're bringing the outdoors back into today's society. The Boy Scouts call this the lost generation of individuals. People who want to get outside aren't getting outside. And why aren't they? Well, because we have too many conveniences at home. Back in the day, 6 a.m. came, you were up and you were out the door, and you came home when the dinner bell rang. And that was it. We lived outside. But as a society, we've become so sedentary. Over the past 150 years, if you think about it, 150 years ago, we were still using the restroom outside. There was no inside, outside, there was life. And now we've moved into this very sedentary, always on our phones, always the electronics. And the goal is just to reconnect people to the outdoors, for them to re-experience things that innately we all need as humans, which is this connection to something that's bigger than us, connection to those around us, that is not very easy to do when we're always holding this.
It's great. And Tom, I'm putting up your bottom third here, and we're opening outdoor adventures to the rest of us. To me, that's such a big deal, because what we have is we're so busy in the business side, and that setup. I would have never I wouldn't have gone down the Grand Canyon other than, we had 16 guys, we went together. Well, we had 16, the guides with us. And I mean, it was a really nice trip, and they made it, as effortless as possible. And we got to enjoy the outdoors, and, we gained the skill set going down to be able to, perform at a, reasonable level. And, this is the thing that I think so often so many of us forget. If you get the right people that are going to make this outdoors easy, it is really easy in today's world.
It really is. And it's really fun. And it allows you to not focus so much on all the hardships and just to enjoy. We want to enjoy things, and we want them to be easy. Well, there's nothing better than enjoying the outdoors in an easy and safe fashion.
Well, one of the things I want to touch on, I don't have any kids, but I have a whole bunch of friends that are offering to lease to own programs on the kids. But no, this.
Me too.
Yeah. This is a. To me, this is an unbelievable bonding experience. Whether it's son and daughter, mother, father. Maybe talk to that a bit, because this is, breaking away, and I don't have my smartphone with me, or I would just hold it up here. But, I've got 6 screens here, we're surrounded by electronics, and you and I are, doing this over Skype, and, it's just, as if we're, next to each other, but we're not. And that experience of being together in the outdoor, just taking that in, I just what are you seeing happen when the entrepreneurs, the business owners make time with their families to do this type of thing?
There's a lot that happens when you make time to spend that very valuable time with your family, because as you mentioned, we're working 12-hour days, etc. When you make that time, it takes the entire family's dynamic to a whole different level. I'll give you a quick little story. I took my 20-month-old on the boat 3 months ago for the first time. And we've been training him to wear his buoys and his swimmies for 3 months, walking around, he's jumping in the pool and all that. And so he finally got the pool down. So then we said, we're going to take him on the boat, we're going to go to a sandbar, and we're going to let him experience the beach, experience the water. And the funniest thing happened. He's sitting there on the beach, he goes into the water, and he's looking weird out into the distance, and he starts swimming. And he just doesn't stop swimming, because he doesn't understand, where is the edge? Where is the end that I'm going to grab onto? And my wife and I are looking at each other, and we're sharing a moment as we're sharing him discover the outdoors in his own way, in his little brain. We can only imagine what's going on in there. And so we're jibber-jabbing, and then the girls see him going, and they jump in, let's go rescue Theo. And it just creates this camaraderie and this environment. So from a memory standpoint, my daughters will always remember swimming out into the great ocean to go rescue Theo. And my wife and I will always remember the look on his face as he's exploring and he doesn't understand. There's no end. And it was just magnificent for us as parents. Now from the kids' perspective, the creativity that that it brings. 3 days later, they're still talking about the hermit crabs that they found and the fish that they caught and all this stuff. And it just continues to ingrain in them this feeling of accomplishment. I made it outdoors and I did something awesome, happiness, but as well as a deeper connection to us, because we all get to share that moment together. And that's really what the outdoors is about when it comes to family time. Now, that can happen with friends, coworkers, you name it. It's one of the greatest bonding experiences possible. It drives creativity to a whole new level. And just the health and wellness of allowing each and every person to create their own unique bond with their environment. And, at the end of the day, they'll care more about it. And since our mission is to create advocates for the outdoors to eventually save Mother Nature, it kind of all flows and goes together. It's just one little piece of a puzzle.
No, it really is. I'm thinking that Theo's going to hear that story at 18 from your daughters of how he owes his whole life to them for rescue.
Yes, absolutely.
That's going to be, but I mean, it's memories like that. And I think it's a really important point. I went to family, but I do a number of events with, both corporate clients as well as my, different company key people. And, as much as we're working really hard on the business and so on, when we bring people together like that, we have an annual ski event that we do each year in Colorado that's just phenomenal. And the relationships out of that are lifelong, much stronger than the company bonds themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do you, so if somebody's thinking of a corporate type of event, how do you help them? I mean, I can see the family, interviewing, do you do much on the corporate side, Tom?
Yeah, we do. It's actually almost 30% of our business. And we spend $0 to acquire the customer, which is great.
Yeah, no. Well, and I think one of the things that's going on is we're all trying to, we're working harder and more effective. I mean, the tools, I'm going to argue, I know sometimes the statistics don't say it, but we're getting much more productive with the tools that we have. But that means we're more fully engaged. And that break time and the outdoor time is just so valuable. How do you make that a special event for a corporate type client?
Yeah, so I'll just give you an example. Right now we're working on a 400-person event in Jacksonville. And the founder's a very outdoorsy guy, and he wanted to go paddling. And we're like, well, it's February. That may cause some problems to some of your team members. He goes, oh, that's fine. And we kind of had to talk him out of it. But instead, we're going to basically, we've curated an experience for them that meets the goals that he was trying to set. He wanted to create a team bonding environment. He wanted to make sure that it happened outdoors, and he wanted to include more than one element. So we're taking people from the mainland, we're taking them over to an island in Georgia. They're going to be hiking along, I think it's like 5-6 miles of trails. There's going to be a picnic out there. They're going to do some corporate games, and then we're going to bring them back. And that whole thing is going to be done in a way that's simple and easy, where they just show up and then they go and they have a great time and then they get off, and they've created those memories and that bonding experience. And that's what it's about on the corporate side. There's a culture piece that's important. There is the associate engagement, the wellness that's important. But also, really, it's going to sound. The company becomes memorable in the eyes of the employees. The employees make memories, but they get more fully grounded into the company that they work for, and they feel even better about working for the group that they work for through these types of events. It's not just going bowling. It's not just going, something simple. It's not just
go out to lunch together. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is like, we are investing in you having a great time with your peers. And as a byproduct of that, you're going to want to work for us longer.
Yeah.
In the day and age of everyone job hopping every 2-3 years.
No, it really is powerful, and I don't do it as much. I'm writing down that I need to do it even more. But when we had more of the traditional company, and I've had a lot of employees, we would do it all the time. We'd schedule and had a partner and his wife. She was just phenomenal at it, and would find individuals like yourself, Tom, to help us put together these adventures, because they're just that I mean, I'm going through my mind almost like a Rolodex, different experiences along the way as we're talking that have been meaningful between friends, between business teammates, between client business development, and this is one of the most effective ways of doing it. Let me go to resources. I want to pull up your website, and you've got a great website and all kinds of adventures. Tell us a little bit about what people are going to find on your website.
Well, when you get to our website, you'll land on our homepage. Unless you're in Florida, then you'll be geo-targeted to a specific home page. It's simple. You just go to the search bar and you look for the area that you're going. Be it Boca Grande or Miami or the Keys or whatnot, and then you'll see the adventures that we have in that location. And if you are just poking around and you want to ask some questions, that little chat button at the bottom on the right-hand corner, click it, and off you go. You can talk to our live team members who will answer any questions that you have. You can pick up the phone, give us a call. You can chat us on Facebook. I mean, you can literally reach out to us in any way, shape, or form. We are here for you to assist you and your friends, families, coworkers to get outdoors. And that's our mission. And it's really that simple. Poke around. If you're already outdoorsy and you already know what you're doing, awesome. Go check out our blog. Go check out our resource section. We have really cool tips and tricks and neat content there that even a pro is going to want to kind of take a look at. 50 duct tape hacks. What to do with duct tape while camping. Someone will definitely learn something, regardless.
No, that's great. How many guides do you have on your team?
So we've got 125 guides across the state of Florida today, offering camping, hiking, paddle, which is paddleboard, and kayak tours and fishing, as well as fishing. Every type of fishing you can imagine, from tarpon to shark to bow fishing, deep sea, you name it, we've got it. It really depends on what you're looking to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, then hit us up and we'll help you figure out what's the best solution or what's the best option for you to get outdoors.
No, this has been great, Tom, and I appreciate it. Let me do the key takeaways that I'm walking away with, and what I find, this is something. I mean, hopefully you're having kind of the same reaction. Well, actually, I hope you're not having the same reaction I am. I'm going, I got to do more of this. I'm hoping you're going, I'm John. I got this covered. It's done, and I think Tom and I would both be happy for you. But, most of us, I'm 61, my age group is what Tom explained. I don't remember ever showing up to the house other than when the dinner bell was there type thing. And, coming in, and we were outside doing all kinds. And I grew up in upstate New York, and, I went trout fishing was just you just walked across the street to do it type. And so many of the other things, and the hunting and all that. And then all of a sudden, life happens and you're in different areas and you don't do it. And I've got some good friends that oftentimes make the time. I've got some, really a great COO who helps put together these activities. But, who's doing it for you, or should you be doing it, and doing it in a way that, you're taking care of, great experiences with your family, great experiences with your teammates, and great experience with the clients. I mean, we all like business development. I've always found that to be one of the most fun ones, because you get to do fun things with great people that you want to work with for an awful long time. Your teammates the same, and family. There's so many memories. It's not the things in life. It's the experience that are going to make a difference. Tom, thank you again. I want to just remind everybody that the show notes, the links to Tom's company website, if you're in Florida, and you cover all of the state, is that correct, Tom?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're in Florida and you've got some time for an adventure, you know where to go now, as well as you've got a little bit more time, a little bit bigger organization or family special thing, make sure to reach out. Everything's at aesnation.com, the show notes. And again, Tom, wish you the best of success. And everyone out there, let's go make a difference in life. And one of the best ways we can do it by getting recharged to have the energy. And there's nothing like the outdoors. Wish you the best of success.
Hey, thanks so much, John. I really appreciate it.
exceptional, remarkable breakthroughs. AESnation.com.